Standing atop the castle, Gravvicon looks out, observing all of the different fractures in the glass sphere that is everything, and all the different slivers cracking and shattering, and spider webs reaching from one to another as some vanish out of existence, whole worlds, universes ceasing to exist. Gravvicon walks back and forth, trying to think it through. Reiko and Yalkur appear at his side. Reiko making a nod, and Gravvicon turns back. Yes, I am well aware. It seems our time is running quite short. Please, call the others. And with a nod from Yalkur, the remaining members appear. Well, if I've done the math right, and I'm usually pretty good about that. I mean, you know me. You are me. If I've done the math right, it seems like our time is running thin. But I think there's one last thing we can do. So, what do you say we save the universe? Or what do you say we save all of them? And Gravvicon throws up his hood. And as light emanates from him, a strand connects to all the 12 remaining members. And they too don their respective hoods. And the symbols of Gravvicon burn brightly across each. Well, now you all see the plan. Do your part. I'll see you soon. And in a flash, the 13 gods of time scatter in search of something to turn the tide. Proxima.
Yes.
You reach the end of your book. This book that is healing you, giving energy back, finally reaches a point that it has replenished you, and you feel the effects of a long rest. You are at full health.
Neat.
And from that, what would you like to do?
I'm not with the others, right?
No, the others have gotten up and walked away, and you sort of peripherally sensed that, but you were very engrossed in that book. But let me ask you one question.
Right.
While reading the book, it did in fact make you relive the most relaxing day in your life. What was that moment for Proxima? What was the most just, this is refreshing. What was that moment for Proxima?
There was a day right after Proxima was done with her examinations that she needed to take in order to get qualified as a medic. And she'd been studying so hard and just working and working and working. And she got through the finals. She got through the examinations. She obviously got top marks on everything because, of course, she did. And the morning after her final exam, she woke up and she realized that she had, for the first time in what seemed like years, nothing to do for an hour. She just didn't have anything to do. She'd agreed to meet some friends later that night. She'd made a few plans, but for the first time in months, she had an hour to herself. And so she got out of bed and she made a cup of tea, and she pulled like her big comfy, sweater around her, and she just sat in the sun for an hour. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to be anywhere, and there weren't any expectations on her. And she knew that she'd worked as hard as she needed to on the exams, and she knew where she was going later that night. But for that one moment, she just had a moment's peace. That was where she hung out.
And you are reliving that moment. You feel it. It's almost as if you are there. And as you're reading this book, you remember that. You remember that feeling so vividly. It was relaxing to you at the time. It was so calm and so still, and you remember the sound of, well, you're at the beach, yes? And you remember the waves as they lapped up on the shore. And you remember as you just wanted to hang in this moment, and the waves froze for just a moment and then kept lapping on the shores. And it must have been a trick of the light. Must have been, well, I don't know what. And you shook it off. And with that rejuvenation, with that lovely feeling of relaxation, you got up. At this exact moment, you reached the end of the book. And you're now fully rejuvenated. And you're able to get up and go about.
Yeah, I mean, I think immediately I'm going to realize that I'm not with the group anymore. And so I would like to go find them.
Yeah. And yeah, you can stand up. There is one of the Orbites, the robotic creatures, walking about nearby. And I mean, you'll be able to locate them. No problem.
Okay.
And they've all gathered, actually. So yeah, they're all in one spot.
Okay. I mean, I think. What did I miss? What is going on?
Hey there, Proxima. You may want to check out this book. Learned a lot about our past. Be warned, you might learn something unlearn.
All right. Could you say that with just a little bit more ominously? I think that'd be good for the vibe.
For sure.
Can I roll a vibe check, please?
Gallagher will attempt to say this more ominously.
The knowledge in this book should have been declared forbidden to those who should be to pertain to.
All right, we've gone like full Goonies with this. That's fine. Okay, so to be clear, just so I've got a picture of what's going on. So like Proxima, they have Proxima's book.
Yes, but no one has opened it.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm gonna crack the old Bookerino.
And Proxima, what is your full name?
Proxima Sands.
And so Proxima Sands G is written on the book.
Right?
Hate that. Yep.
And so, yeah, you've got the book in hand. What would you like to do?
Read it. This feels like a trap. I don't know.
No, yeah, it's absolutely. And also, I will remind you all that you are also given letters.
Right.
And there is one for Proxima as well. So each member has a letter that was just delivered moments ago by Nebula, who popped in and popped out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think with that gloriously ominous of a warning, I think she's gonna crack the book before she looks at the letter.
Okay. And yeah, so when you open up the book, this is your life's history. And it is everything you remember. It's your childhood. It is your you're growing up in just kind of the middle of nowhere. It's nothing extravagant or anything major, but there are these memories you have of your father, and you can see him in tiefling form in your early years. And then at some point in your life, he just vanished. And you read in there, you read this moment where you are seeing yourself. And in that history moment of your own life, there was another moment where you wanted something. You just wanted this thing to last just a little bit longer. And again, a pause seemed to happen. Just a slight pause, like you were perhaps chasing a butterfly and you wanted to see it, or anything of the sort. And your desire, and then it froze for a moment. And again, it was just a half momentary second of a glitch. The very next page is your father vanishing. The very next thing that happened after the first time that was ever recorded in your book. And then you keep going on and you find yourself going to your medical school in the warring world, and you learn to be a combat medic, and you are out and you find yourself on the battlefield, and you find right up until the point that you were snatched right away to Gravvicon. Would you like to keep reading?
Yes, please.
Okay.
No, I think I'm good there. It's fine. Okay.
And you see exactly what was laid out, that you went in and you walked right in and met the group, were put into a mission, were sent along the way, and you encountered that hooded figure right off the bat who sent you on the mission. And it details your whole trip thus far, all of these little moments that have led you to this exact spot. And it details all of that. And you now find yourself reading about your life that has led up to this exact moment. And it is you holding the book in the book.
Okay. Gallagher, quick vocabulary question for you. What do you think the word ominous means? Like what is happening?
Foreboding, terrifying, potentially existentially threatening.
I want you to know that this is the most I know all of it. Like there's
Wait.
there I don't, okay, maybe a better question is what was ominous about your
Is-
book, because there's nothing here.
I'm gonna like flip to the page where I show the split in my life.
Here's where I died. Here's where I supposedly kept living.
What?
But that's not me. That's Nebula. This is me.
Taika.
Yeah,
This-
I have
Yes.
the same thing. There's not a split in your book, and Taika flips up his book and shows you the same split where he supposedly died, and then Nebula finishes his magic trick.
And then Bucket goes, "Oh well, of course, yours is ominous."
And yeah, they're Bucket's able to show you. Doc's does not. Doc is able to show you that his life seems to have just been stuck in time, and he was frozen for 200 years, not dead. But yeah, your book, you've reached about like the first third of your book is where this moment is.
I mean, there is nothing here. I mean, and she flips to the, moment. I was like, all of this is known. Like, there's nothing else. And I'm assuming the rest of it is blank.
Would you like to look?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't know there was more.
Yeah, so you do turn to the next page, and it's blank. And as you look at it, the book begins to fluctuate violently.
Okay.
It starts to shake in your hands, and there's a bit of glow that starts to come off of your fingers, and you feel the book come under control. And the page starts with ink and color starts to write itself. As it starts to write, you can see a moment that has yet to happen yet. As it almost being forcibly written. And you see the opening of the letter, and you can see that some of the other pages are starting to write themselves too.
Gallagher seeing this is gonna.
Guys, this is new.
I'm gonna do the same to my book. I'm gonna open up to the blank pages. Does anything happen?
They are blank. You see the moment that you like do that, sort of write itself down, but yeah, nothing. Nope. It seems to just.
Oh
Look,
my god.
We have to figure out why you didn't get replaced.
I don't know.
And what's that G?
I'm pretty sure that's Gravvicon.
Yeah. I think that's my father.
I think
think-
your daddy's a time god and you're a little time baby. And I think how what we're seeing here is the apparitions of you being said time baby.
I mean, as much as I love the term time baby, can I open the letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna open the letter and see what it says.
Yeah, it says Proxima Sans G. You are cordially invited to the throne room. Signed, Gravvicon.
Great. Can I? Oh, this is a risky bet, boys. Can I open to like the very back of the book, like the last page, and just see what happens?
I
Yeah,
brace for
No, I
impact.
take it back. I take it back. I take it back. I take it back.
you
That's
you
the
are
worst face I've
so
ever seen you make.
you are so no. You said it is in the world, and I never want to punish your creativity unwarranted. So yes,
I've never seen a DM make
Proxima-
that face before.
Proxima opens to the back of the book, and you see a jet black page. And as you look at it, you see, you feel, you know that this is. Roll a wisdom save.
Oh, hoisted on my own petard. All right. Can't find it. Here we go. It's a 17.
Cool. That fails.
Oh, fuck me.
And you feel a connection to this page, to this moment, as you understand. Your mind connects to it, and you can tell that this is the end of everything.
Time baby.
And you watch as bits of black energy start to crawl out from the book. The rest of you, Proxima is simply staring at the page. You guys can actually see the energy, much like that moment that it came for Stara, is coming out of the book. Proxima seems to be content just staring at this page.
I'm going
Close
to
it. Close it.
Can I use my magic gloves, sort of like a counter spell? Can I consider this magic so I can just like slap the book out of her hand?
You can certainly try.
All right, I'm gonna roll to hit my dex. Yes, that is a 19.
Okay. So you're able to strike the book. And as you strike the book, you're trying to get it out of her hands, yes?
Yeah, like out of her eyesight so that she doesn't get the knowledge.
Okay. Roll a d20, no modifiers.
God.
6.
You smack the book out of her hands and it falls to the ground, but the book is still open. And that energy is curling up and out. And no matter what, Proxima is just staring at that black page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cast I cast a shatter on the book.
You cast a shatter on the book. Okay. Roll that it's a con save
It's
from
a
the
con
book.
save of 16.
I
All
guess
right,
that
I'm
would
gonna-
get us too, wouldn't it? Would it not?
It would be within range.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a good idea at the time.
You're a time
I-
god. You saw the end of time.
Yeah.
I gave the book nothing here and it rolled an 18. So it's
I
going to
rolled a
take half
15.
of that
It's gonna
damage.
take half. That's gonna be 17 total.
Cool. So it takes the 8
8.
damage, thunder damage, and the rest of you make a what is that? A deck save or a con
A
save?
con save. Yep.
Yeah. The others make a con save.
15. My con save.
21.
Okay. So yeah, you save, and you do not Gallagher, so that's 17. And for Proxima, that is only 8. And there is an echo as it strikes the book. And then a ripple. And Proxima, you hear it, but you don't feel it. You don't even acknowledge it. It's just a drop in the bucket of everything. And you are looking at everything. And you have struck the book. You have smacked it out of her hands. Would you like to do anything else, guys?
Can I just like close the book now that it's out of her hands and damage? Can I just like
Yeah, you can absolutely go ahead and you're going to use, you're just going to run over and shut it?
And
just gonna run over
And-
and shut it?
I'm gonna
get
I'm gonna
skill involved. In
I'm
guidance
throwing
myself.
Gallagher a card for Bardic Inspiration to give you a D8.
I'm guidancing myself as well.
Yeah.
So
Please
what is this?
make a wisdom saving throw as you touch the book.
Okay, I can't guidance that, but I can certainly bardic inspiration,
yep.
right?
Yes.
All right, that is a. Thank goodness I'm decent at these. 21 plus 3 plus 5. 24.
Okay. And don't you have a special
yeah,
thing?
and,
on if
you also
use it
get,
for a saving throw?
Temporary hit points equal to the number of the Bardic Inspiration die plus 5.
That's 8 temp HP then. Delightful.
Okay. And so yeah, that was a total of 20. You say 8?
24.
24. You grab the book, and this energy that is surrounding it sort of grazes you. And for a split second, you are everywhere. And your hand moves to shut the book. And you see this scene in slow motion for a brief second, but then you see it rewound. You can see it not happening. You can see the option that you didn't come into this library. You can see that you guys stopped to fight that Baylor demon that descended. You can see the moment that you chose not to join your family's idea of growing up and running the business. You can see the moment that and then you shut the book. And Proxima,
Oh, yeah.
you're disconnected from it. And you have this very heavy feeling over you as you recognize you have just peered into, you don't know how to explain it, but that was the end. That was the end of everything. Take 1 level of exhaustion.
Cool.
Gallagher's gonna say, "All right, Proxima, I need you to listen very carefully.
Okay.
I don't care whether or not you accept it, but you are a time god.
Also,
What was
Proxima
at-
doesn't know how to do exhaustion on D&D Beyond. Can
I
someone
don't
tell
know.
her?
No, I don't know if you can do it on there either.
But you can.
Um,
Conditions. Just tap conditions
cool.
down at the bottom. Exhaustion 1.
Oh, cool. Sorry. Thanks.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you will have disadvantage on, I believe, ability checks.
Okay.
Proxima, you are a time god. That is what you are. And I think this proves it better than any of us. When I flip those pages, I don't see nothing. You saw the end. That was everything. That was all there was and ever could be. The only way that could be at the end of your book is if you saw it. If you were there. If you're going to be there. You are a time god.
I'm going to agree with that one.
We need you as a pawn in Gravvicon. I think we go to the crown room. We move you across the board. We make you that crown that you are. Your birthright as being Nebula Gravvicon's child.
But then what would you
Proxima-
do after that, though? Gallagher, what? Proxima becomes a crown, then what?
I don't know. Is this our mission? Our mission was supposed to be return a book, but we're not done. Clearly, whatever our next job is, it is in that crown room. Does Nebula not work for the crowd for Gravvicon? His name is in the goddamn title.
What? You saw them deceive you. Why are you still a company man? Is this what they want us to do? Why would we do that?
I don't have a life anymore. I used to be a company man. Now guess what? I'm a freelancer working for a company that killed me. I don't know what to think anymore. And I hope that there is some sort of answers lying in that there crown room. So I say we have Doc with his big brain, use his big magic necklace, and take us to Gravvicon so we can get some answers. I don't have any answers.
Proxima,
Now I have questions. I'm the one with questions, Proxima. I have so many questions.
Proxima straightens up, and for the first time in a very long time, she pulls back her hood. And Proxima looks around at the group, and she says, "For a very long time, I have not known who I am, and I have had many questions. But I assure you of one thing. I am nobody's pawn. Let's go."
All right.
Well, you're not, but I sure am. Let's go.
Listen, cool. I just wanted to seem like it was going to sound cool when I said it, but now I feel awkward about it. I'm
This is
sorry.
very
We
cool.
can just. Does everybody want to
That's
go? Is that cool?
Yeah,
It's
let's-
fine. I'm just seeing the end of space and time, so I'm a little, it's a whole thing.
But remember, Gallagher, let's try not to do the thing that the people who killed us and then took our place and lived out our lives want us to do, right?
Well, currently I've got no better ideas.
Let's get answers, but let's keep asking questions.
That's fair enough. Doc. Yes, of course.
Yes. With my magic
You're
time.
so
dice.
good at this.
Say, wizard.
Okay, so if you would like, Doc can go ahead and use the amulet to take you all to Gravvicon if that's what you would like.
Before we do, I want to open up my letter. I
Yeah,
realize that I haven't
same.
opened up we haven't opened up our letters yet.
Yep.
Either.
And as each of you open, it is in fact an invitation to the throne room from Gravvicon.
But we all have the same stuff. In that case, let's go back to Gravvicon.
And roll a perception check real quick.
All of us?
It would just be you two, not
Okay.
Katie.
That is a 21.
That is
Cool.
a 25.
Both of you recognize this is sort of a post perception check, but you recognized when he handed you your letters, he had a handful more.
Oh.
Business meeting.
So it's going to be a party.
And so,
Oh.
so yeah, you're able to ask Doc, and Doc will do so. I will allow one of you to roll for use of the amulet, as it requires an intelligence check of 15. Doc has a +5, so you can go ahead and use his stat, but one of you will say, well, who's going to do the roll?
I've got a lucky dice exactly for this occasion.
Excellent. So that'll
You
go
do it.
poorly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Wait,
you have
where
a
is he?
+5 on the lucky die,
Hey,
Where's
while
my-
he's doing that, does anybody happen to have like a I don't know, razor sharp memory and could maybe count how many letters he was holding?
+5, that is a 23.
Yeah, so you have a 23. Yeah, that's good enough. It will start to absorb you. But as you have that idea, you rolled a 25, didn't you, Taika?
Yes.
On your perception?
Mhm.
Yes, you would definitely count that there were 8 more.
And hey, what are the 8 other people that he was going to give those letters to?
And as you have that thought, the amulet.
I was right. There's 5 of us, 8 more, 13. We are all time gods.
And you are warped.
Who's
Out
the
of
time
there.
baby now, bitch?
As you suddenly find yourself standing in the hallways of Gravvicon.
I don't like this at all.
We back.
We back.
Perception check, everyone.
Okay.
11.
30. I see it.
I got a 17.
Okay. So Taika, as you appear, you realize you're standing right in front of the throne room doors. You've been here enough. You've never really been like over here, but it's pretty evident by these giant gaudy doors in front of you. Gody, gaudy.
Yeah. Yep.
and-
I got it.
Proxima with a 17, you look around and something seems just a little off in the area. You're not quite sure. Something just sort of, you don't see anyone, you don't see anything, and just something, can't quite tell if it's something you're hearing or feeling, but something just feels kind of off.
Okay.
But with a 30, Gallagher,
Is that real? How is that possible?
I have a +11 and I rolled a 19.
Jesus Christ.
you can hear it. It's like it's silence, but it's harsher than that. It's like it's like the sound itself of this space. Your senses in general seem to be being consumed. Like, it's not that you're not hearing things. It's like that sound is going somewhere and not coming back. It's like you're standing in a vacuum. It feels really weird. Like you could almost hear your own heartbeat.
All right. I don't know if it's the magic or the fact that I'm having a thrumming realization that I might be a time baby, but I'm pretty sure that we're in some kind of vacuum void space right now.
Maybe something is surrounding Gravvicon. Maybe there's a spell on it. I mean, there's these doors are pretty gaudy. I think we should just go through.
Man, the interior designer needs to get out of the Baroque period.
Open it up.
Hold on, before you guys do that, I'm gonna cast aid on everybody. So you get your current hit point maximum and current hit points increased by 5 for the duration.
Is
Nice.
that temp HP or is that or just max HP?
It says each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increased by 5 for the
Let's
duration.
fucking go.
Did you know that if you put that on a necromancer wizard, it's permanent HP forever?
Good to know.
Yep. Thanks for that.
Okay, so you've cast aid. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
God. I'm
gonna activate my astral arms. I feel like we're coming for a
I
fight or
feel like
something.
we're
I'm
Yep.
scared.
And
yeah.
and
Astral arms, shillelagh. Let's
yeah,
go.
and Taika flips off his coat, basically grabs the back and pulls it off over his head and throws it out in front of him while he casts animate. And there's now a coat kind of walks on the arms. Burp, 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 burp.
Oh, I have a thing.
Excellent.
Can I grab the hilt of my sword and pull it out, like not all the way, just a little bit, and say, like just telepathically think, like, do you have anything to say about any of this?
I am merely the arbiter of your deeds. Allow me to observe your life and judge if you are worthy.
Do I still have my book?
Yeah.
Okay, this is maybe a weird thing that I want to try in this moment because fuck, it's D&D and I can. Can I take the sword out and can I put the book on the floor and can I do like a fucking like into the book and just go like, okay, well if you want the book report, here you go, and just see what happens just for shits.
You want to stab the book?
I want to run the sword through the book.
Could I attempt to prevent this from happening? I'm terrified of this book. We're gonna get TPK'd by the chapters.
Listen, it's the second to last episode. I got nothing left to lose, man.
I think Taika would probably stop you trying to stop her because he wants to see this book go away.
You
shared, like,
pull out, you pull out this book and you set it on the ground and you pull out Spectre and you stab this book. You want to stab it just through the heart of the book into the ground.
Like you maybe like a tasteful corner so I can still
through,
open the book and shit.
Through the calf of the book, not the heart. Like
yeah. Like not like a cool middle, like, that seems disrespectful.
Yeah. And yeah, you stab into the book and there is a rampant magic that as you dig in, it starts to just wisps of magic come shooting off of the book, just energy waves.
Okay.
And the book stops giving off those vibes and just lays there.
Oh, did I kill the book? Maybe I killed the book.
I mean, that's what happens when you stab things.
Yeah. All right, can I ask Spectre, like, hey, what was that okay for you? How was that? What did I help? Oh god.
Spectre does not respond.
I think you killed your sword.
Oh no! Ah,
He showed.
He's
Probably
your sword eternity.
He's
Roll,
probably still reading.
Roll
I
an
thought it was
insight
like a
check.
puzzle.
You showed your sword eternity.
Well,
Roll an investigation check, actually.
all right. So 17.
Okay. So you recognize that the symbols for souls is still marked at 5 on Spectre. Those have not gone away.
Okay.
And you can like your telepathy, your question went through. So you felt the link of like, it's like picking up the phone and you heard someone pick up.
Okay.
They did not respond.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a gambit. Sorry for wasting everyone's time, but okay. I guess we can go inside now.
And so you've stabbed the book on the floor. Is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, I'll pull it out. I'll put Spectre back and I'll put the book in my bag.
Nope, don't think that was a waste of time. I think we all learned something.
I think we all learned that sometimes under pressure, our choices are not good. But you know what? It's fine.
I think
I'm a
it was.
time god. I do what I want.
I think it was a great choice. Now nobody's writing your fucking destiny.
That's right.
Did you want to do anything with the book or just slip it away?
Oh god, my instinct is to open it and see if I accidentally broke it, but not all the way. Like just to like a reasonable page, not the end.
Yeah. And yeah, you open up this book, this memoir of Proxima Sans G, and there are cuts through many of the pages, and there are errors. There some of the line work in a lot of the stuff seems to be missing now, and it's sort of fading, and you're not really getting any magic energy off of this thing as you look at it.
Okay.
Did
Okay.
you break your book?
Oh god, I feel really bad because I have like two things, but I don't want to like waste all the D&D time.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, question 1.
Yeah.
I don't know how to ask how to do this. So before in the library, Proxima opened the book and it started writing things that hadn't happened yet.
Yep.
Can I try to see the the inside of the room that we're about to go into?
Yeah, you could go to what would be the page after you guys standing outside of it.
Yeah, can I look and see like if that page is like working?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you open up to that page, I want you to make a flat D20 roll, no modifiers.
Hate that. Okay. Oh, that's an 8.
Okay. You can see that the blade has pierced into several of those pages after this. You went pretty deep into the book, and there is no response from those pages.
Okay. Second thing.
Yep.
Can I pull out Spectre, and can I try and see, like, kind of like point Spectre at the air and try to do the same thing?
So you want to point Spectre at the air and do what?
I want to see if Spectre will show me what is about to happen. Because, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you withdraw Spectre and you point Spectre at the door. At the door, right? Or
Yeah,
just in the air?
like at the door. Sure.
What do you ask? How do you tell, what's the telepathic question?
I guess the question is, well, if the book isn't magic anymore, did I accidentally make you even more magic?
And for a brief moment, roll an Arcana check, and we'll see what you see.
Oof, that's a nat 1.
And as you think about it and you ask that, in your mind for a moment, you see 1,000 different swings of Spectre. You see yourself block, you see yourself swing, you see yourself collide, you see the moment that you withdrew Spectre for the first time. You see the history of Spectre, but some of it you haven't done yet, and it's all jumbled up. You can't decipher it, but you did just see some time remnant related things in regards to Spectre.
Okay, cool. So I turn
But
to the
it
group
was
and I
sort of
say,
overloaded.
okay, so I'm really sorry, but I accidentally made a time sword. I guess let's go fight the bad guy now. I don't know what's happening anymore. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
Can't just accidentally make a time sword and then
Look,
apologize. That's cool as
listen,
hell.
the magical items that I have accidentally made just trying to live my life in the past 2 weeks have been very distressing to me, okay?
So what do you all do, Taika?
I think at this point Taika's jacket is like right up next to the door, and it's just like waving its floppy sleeve, just being like, come on, let's go.
And you shove open the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as you push open these doors, they swing open. They're very heavy, but they seem to just open on up. And you can see inside this room, you can see Gravvicon with the hood back. For a brief moment, Taika, you remember that blinding light when you looked at this
vividly.
being. It's not quite there as you're looking at this person, and there is a horrifying looking being right next to him with galaxies under its skin and long black nails and markings all over its body. And it is standing directly in front of him. And those two seem to be standing there as you enter the room. And then a voice says, "Oh, don't mind them. They're talking." And as you turn, you see Gravvicon, the same guy as the one that's over there, identical, standing right in front of you, off to your right.
All right, so you're Gravvicon, but a bit to the right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm so glad you all could make it. We have so much to discuss, and funny enough, for a time god, so little time. So, I assume we have a lot of questions.
Why us?
Proxima doesn't even answer. She just like raises one eyebrow.
Why us? Why did you kill us? Why'd you replace us? What exactly is that? You have 8 invitations. Who'd you give them to? Why? What's going on? Everything.
Well, okay, in that particular order, because you were needed, because that's the way to do it. That way no one noticed that you are gone, and people you will meet one day. Possibly.
Which one are you?
I am... Let's just call me Gravvicon the First. Or, I guess really in this instance, Gravvicon the Last.
Are you post-split?
Yes. I think that's the best way to answer that. Yes. I am post-split, or at least I have split before. And in this exact instance, in order to have this conversation outside of his ears, and he nods over towards the creature standing in front of frozen him, I needed to be somewhere, well, not really somewhere, some time that he wouldn't hear us. So we are in the exact same moment, in the exact same location, in the exact same spot, just a smidge of a dimension over.
Okay. Are we time babies? Gallagher's
Wow.
dead serious.
That is a good question. What do you consider a baby?
Do we become time gods in the future?
I don't know. And he smiles.
You're a liar. I'm gonna insight check that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
27.
Nice.
He is, in everything you can tell, he is very sincere in that answer, and he's smiling, very amused about it.
Who is
What
that?
does it mean?
That is, dare I say, Gravvicon the Worst? That is me if I didn't, if I didn't care, if I didn't That's me who did everything that I did not.
And why should we keep listening to you when you've just been lying to us for literally since I died, didn't die? I don't even fucking know.
Technically, I never lied to you. You had an accident, and in that moment, you were plucked to Gravvicon. I explained to you that, well, technically, they explained to you that when someone dies or is about to, sometimes they are brought here to work for the Gravvicon Order, and that was true. And you asked whether or not you'd be able to get back and save David, and I did tell you that there's a possibility you would end up in the same location. So I did not lie.
This is just misdirection. I literally do this for a living. How can you try and do this to me?
Okay.
This is lying by omission. You didn't necessarily tell us that he was alive in the first place. You are a liar, a deceiver, a false prophet.
And technically, I understand your feelings, but I must admit, based on what I have just said, that means I have not broken any of the rules. Therefore, we were able to have this little conversation at all.
Okay. So, what do you want from us at this point? We have done everything you asked of us. We took the book back. We completed the mission, and yet here we stand in some sort of alternate dimension with far, far more questions than answers. What is the purpose of all of this?
You know, in a game of chess, sometimes you make a move, and sometimes a piece gets taken. Or sometimes you aggressively take a few other pieces, and then have to sacrifice one in turn. But the true nature of that is knowing that the person who would take that piece would be vulnerable in 2 turns prior or after. And that aggressive movement or sacrifice was nothing more than a play to set up the next move. It's funny how that works. Like how, for instance, a group returning a book may accidentally bring along some extra guests and get them stuck somewhere. Like a library.
Ah!
And that could not be under anyone's control. Who could know that that would happen? Certainly not a god of time or his worse half.
So the mission was get a vampire stuck in a library? Why couldn't you just tell us that?
And he holds up a hand as you go to say that. And those words do not leave your lips. Now, these are all hypotheticals. And in hypotheticals, there is no set point in time. And if you would like our conversation to remain uninterrupted, I do suggest there be no definites.
Well,
in regards to that particular question.
so what you're saying, hypothetically, our mission was to hypothetically deliver a hypothetical book to a hypothetical library that would hypothetically hinder some other people that would hypothetically come here.
Now that is a fun story. And he nods in your direction.
Gallagher's like crying at this point. He's like, what does this mean?
Okay. Oh, fuck.
So, to answer the first part, why you? We are out of time, which is not really something that I'm quite accustomed to. But here we are, as sometime in the future, we all lose to a very disgruntled child. And when you throw a tantrum, you do not know the damage you cause. You are simply emotional and aggressive. And if you were to remove all of the beings that hold everything together, you set loose some very interesting counterparts as emotions to that figure again. And you also remove any sense of stability, therefore, any guarantee of continued existence.
So you're in the process of accidentally destroying all of this dimension, and now we are in some way, we have to come save it.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, oh yeah. Not absolute, of course.
Technically, in this story, I've already lost. But in this interesting tale, perhaps there's a way to reset the game. And perhaps, had a move been made long ago, say in a town called Bramble a few thousand years ago, then perhaps that loss wouldn't bear fruit. And perhaps going about it in any other way, my opponent would have noticed. On the chessboard, of course. And ultimately, I must admit, I do believe that I have reached the end of my game. I will no longer be present to see it play out. But perhaps some folks would like to stand in and see this to the end, knowing that the cards have been tipped in their favor.
Hypothetically, in the game of chess, one must account for all of their pieces, yes?
Of course.
So why then? And Proxima, fucking dagger eyes him. Why then would someone put the piece somewhere and then leave it behind?
I can't say I understand the question.
You're my dad, right?
Oh. Now that, unfortunately, is not the case. I believe you've met him on many occasions.
But not this one. Great. Cool. All right.
I'm not, no. Nebula is a special piece. Nebula is exceptional. And if you would like an answer to that, perhaps it's best I show you. By this point, you've read your books. Allow me to give you a bit more. And you begin to see images flood your mind. And as they do, you see Nebula taking the form of Gallagher Quickshot. And you see a moment before that where Nebula's in the throne room, and there is a letter left for him. And he reads it over. You don't quite see what it is, but then you see him take the form of Gallagher Quickshot. You see him live out Gallagher's life. And in these moments, you see this figure come through the area, scanning. And it lays its eyes on Nebula. And then it moves on. And you see Nebula die as Gallagher Quickshot. You see Taika Kuzlo jump from the back of the audience and come down and heal David and live out the rest of that life. And again, that figure comes searching for something, and it looks at Taika. But as if that's not what it's looking for, it leaves. And moving forward again, you see the same happen to each of you as it comes to look, and nothing is there except you, Proxima. It comes first as you see that moment again where the first time you ever stopped time. You see a green hooded figure appear in front of Nebula. And as Nebula goes to speak, it snatches him. And he says, "We need to go." And in a puff, they vanish. And Nebula is standing in Gravvicon and transforms back into his base form. And in a panic, reaches for this figure and pulls back their hood and says, "What? I thought I was done." And he says, "I'm so sorry, but I need to get you far away from me." And the god of chaos, the traveler, tells Nebula, "We're not quite done my agreement." And they warp. And Nebula continues living a life, traveling and working, always powered by the god of chaos. No longer connected ever to Gravvicon, his energy coming from somewhere else. And you see him live your lives, grow old, and die as you, to be brought back and resurrected by the god of chaos and sent to do it again and again and again, until ultimately Nebula stands toe to toe with a crowned figure with several spires sticking out of the top of the crown. And you watch this figure pierce Nebula with black javelins of some type of material that pierce through his body. And Nebula says, "When you see my daughter, tell her I say hello when she cuts off your head." And Nebula perishes. And you are now no longer seeing images. You're back in the room with Gravvicon.
So, is that
What? Okay.
is that what we're about to watch transpire? That Nebula gonna die before our eyes. and we're gonna say hello. Us.
It might have been a bit much to take, so let me give you the shortened version.
Okay.
That thing over there, the opposite me, has been hunting you down, as it was sort of aware that I was perhaps doing something that might be considered breaking the rules. But as you can see, I've never broken the rules of our existence. And in that, if it sensed my connection to you whatsoever, it would eradicate you. But every time it encountered you, you were simply powered by a different deity. So I couldn't have had a hand in anything. I'm not the god of chaos.
Oh. I think he was hiding us. Because
Yep.
every time that being came to pass, that god of chaos, that's what we're looking at. Every time it would come into our lives, it would see Nebula as us.
Yeah,
And would move along.
right. Okay. So,
So now that we're here, what can we do? We're obviously not as strong as you, or even 12 more of you.
You're right. That would take a very long time.
Are we training montaging this? Is that what we're doing?
did the montage.
In this instance, someone of my stature might very well have the ability to montage such a thing, as you put it. But it's best that sort of thing is a lived experience. So let me ask you this. You have made it to the end of the board. What would you like to be? In this instance, you very well could be sent back. And the option, it's a gamble. But if you got to this very moment in time and you choose to go home, I will honor that. And the Gravvicon Order will never take you. You will never exist in this way, and your assistance will never happen. And many, many, many years beyond your time, everything will crumble, but you will never experience it, nor will you have a part in it. You won't even remember this. But you, special few, were plucked outside of the watchful eye of existence. And as one thing fades, another can take its place. And in this instance, you could take over my place. As I said, technically I've already lost, so I'm not really here. I'm not really not here, but eventually this all dries up and I am no more. But you've already set in motion what could be the undoing of that entity. I can't really undo what it did, otherwise it would prevent us from ever needing to stop it, so it's kind of a paradox there. I love those. But I have set something in motion that would ultimately weaken it just after its success. And in that moment, the new gods could deliver retribution.
I'm assuming, hypothetically, You mean us?
I believe you have a choice to make. And as much of what you have done, I am not allowed to influence it, nor make it for you. My ability to undo all of it, even in that regard, I can make it so that none of this happened.
Well,
But I never know.
when I died, and when I was training under Gravvicon to become what I am now, I came to understand a solemn peace. While I am angry that my life was taken, I have long since come to forgive the action of theft. The peace I now hold is mine, and I would hate to have that taken from me again. I'll take my place on the end of the board. This is what must be.
He leans in to say, if you do, you'll come to learn the error in those words. It is not what must be. It is simply an endless array of what can be.
Yeah. I know, hypothetical.
And he turns and he looks to Taika.
Look, the way you play games is fucking scummy. Even for someone like me who tricks people. And now that I know how you play, I need to take that and make sure that your game doesn't become the game that gets played after you're gone.
Now, spoken like a true entertainer. And he looks over to Proxima.
Proxima looks around, sort of considers the situation. He says, will I get to die?
I wasn't ever sure of that answer, really. I know it's possible. We've changed guard many, many times. But my position was what some thought to be a little more permanent. And yet, here I am, having this discussion, so... I do not know.
She nods thoughtfully. She says, I will take my place for my father, for all of the people who do not have pawns to move around for themselves. We'll do it for them, because your game must end.
So, I suppose it's time you meet them then. And with a twist of his wrists, the other 12 remaining versions of Gravvicon appear. Liba, Reiko, the whole slew of them arrive. And you see Sumier, Huso, Koda, Nuin, Yalkur, Aristania, Flit, Balani, Warrior, Apollo, and Luck. And they all give a slight nod, some curtsy, some give an overdramatic bow as Gravvicon the god of time has fully assembled in your presence. As you may know, acceptance of this will not necessarily mean that you are working alone. You are part of a collective. Ours worked with one mind and one being. Yours will have a little more democracy about it. The others will be here one day.
Wait, what others?
There were 8
When?
letters, weren't there?
All right.
You are going to need a full board.
Oh my god, that's an actual chess game. Okay.
And he advances forward and extends a hand to shake your hand, Proxima.
Shake it.
And he shakes your hand. And he moves over to do the same to Gallagher.
Gallagher, with his astral arm, gives a big, meaty handshake.
Then to Taika.
Taika takes a step back, has his book of history, throws it on the ground, snaps his fingers as it goes up in flames, and he just looks at Gravvicon. I'm not doing this for you.
And he looks down at the book. And then he looks up to you and says, do it for whoever you need to. As I said, it is not my choice to make, nor mine to influence.
I make my own fucking choices now.
And he turns and he shakes the hand of Doc and extends a hand to shake Buckets. Well, this is Gravvicon, as it was. Scattered amongst 13 players, managing the game from all angles. But we sort of ran our course. Here's to hoping the 13 of you do things better. Now, I must admit, it's quite some time until the others get here. But you'll have all the time in the world. I need you to see something, though, before you go. I need you to know what brought all of this to a conclusion. Because one day, and this is just maybe personal bias, I want you to kill it. Because I, Gravvicon, God of all time and space, have influenced the turn of events to lead to this exact moment. And as he begins to say that, the creature standing beside begins to flex its shoulders back and forth as it feels the presence of something, and it begins to turn and look relatively in your direction. And you feel a presence starting to absorb and appear in the back of the room. Something is crackling, a slit of shadow of warped space is starting to open up in the back of the room. Something is coming. And the creature standing next to Gravvicon, number 14, begins to turn its head and eventually locks eyes with Gravvicon, the one that's been speaking to you. I see you. And the 12 other members begin to absorb into the Gravvicon you are speaking. And Gravvicon looks right back at the 14th member and says, funny how that works. Seeing something doesn't often matter when you're too late. And the creature dashes at Gravvicon, and this thing in the back starts to grow, and it looks like a doorway is opening in the back of the room. As 14 gets to Gravvicon and digs its nails into him. And you feel it inside you. You feel the erasure of the gods of time. As 14's nails dig in. And they fade away. And Gravvicon is no more. And the 14th looks around the room and begins walking in your directions as it's scanning the room. And as it's walking, it gets closer and closer. And it walks directly through Bucket. And then it turns. It senses something. And it turns back and it keeps walking. And you watch as it passes directly through where Doc is standing. But it makes no contact with him. Everybody make an Arcana check.
Well, that's going to go great.
You got the idiot squad in town today. That's a 10.
I got a 16.
16 as well.
Okay. You got this sort of sense when you first walked in, and because Gallagher heard it so well, this void, this overlapping gap, you don't think you're on the same plane as that thing right now.
Oh.
Yeah, we're still in the pocket plane.
Pocket plane.
You get the sense that Gravvicon slid you over to an untouchable spot. And you watch this thing perusing the area, and anytime it comes near you, it simply walks right through you. But that gateway at the back of the room, that crackling, that energy, it's still building. And this thing doesn't seem to notice it.
I'm gonna give myself a bit of guidance.
Okay.
I'm gonna make my way to the portal, well, to the energy spot.
And
I'm gonna
I
check
wanna-
it out.
Okay.
Wait, what were you gonna say, Tycho?
Taika was just gonna casually kind of call out to the monster, hey, ugly, and he's gonna cast Vicious Mockery just to see if it will reach.
Yeah, and nothing happens.
Okay.
I think. Well, sorry, you go, Gallagher.
Boldly making my way to the crackling energy. I'm gonna could I perceive what it is, or do I have to investigate to figure out what this thing is?
What the energy is?
Yeah.
It's just this black mass of, it's almost like shadow, or it's some just black energy pouring out, and it seems to be folding things backwards and opening up. It's almost no, you know what, I'll give this to you. It seems very akin to the energy you've seen before coming out of the book, coming after Stara, except instead of coming out and over like everything has before, this is coming through the middle and bending backwards, like it's tearing something open.
I
What do you
I
think
have-
this is, Proxima?
I think I have an idea, and I do not know if this is right. Hypothetically, I think that our friend has given us a way to destroy this thing, hypothetically. But I think that how we do it is we have to start speaking in absolutes.
I was planning on just training forever. I was gonna get real strong. Gonna bring out my whole ghost and we're gonna fight. But
I'm not sure. I could maybe be absolutely overcomplicating this thing, but I have seen the end of all space and time recently, so I'm very tired.
Oh.
But I think that hypothetically, that thing cannot see us right now.
Yeah.
and I think if we speak in absolutes, I'm pretty sure we will absolutely be seen and absolutely be dead.
Oh no, Gallagher, don't do that. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, we will be absolutely dead. How does that sound?
I want to toss just like a regular card into the void just to see where it goes.
You try to toss something at the void, and it goes right through into the abyss. And then it comes fluttering right back out.
And I
Make
try
a perception check specifically, Taika.
Yeah, would love to. Oh, spicy. That is a 20.
This will be with advantage.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll say great. Yeah, 26.
Cool. You threw it in. You can tell just by the trajectory of it.
Mhm.
That wasn't the wind. That was thrown back.
And if I catch and I try and catch it, does it go through me or can I catch it?
Roll a dexterity saving throw.
It goes all the way through you.
You are dead.
That's a 7.
Cool. Yeah, that thing nails you for 12 slashing damage.
Holy
Jesus.
As you reach up to take it, it goes straight through the side of your hand.
Oh.
Yeah, and Taika just like is in disbelief and holds his hand back up and then kind of like pulls it down so it's like a little like mouth. He just says, "Ow!" like puppet style.
Ew.
Yeah, that was definitely thrown back with force.
Thrown back.
Yeah, somebody caught it and hurled it back, and it
Can I
and it
vibe
hurt.
check this? Can I vibe check this thing with an insight check to see?
Go right ahead. All of you.
Insight, you said?
Yeah.
That is
Oh.
a 19.
I got
11.
a 13.
Cool. You, Taika and Proxima are definitely just like, well, that's not good. And you're maybe even as a cleric, you're probably paying attention more to the wounded person.
I'm
Yeah, I
probably
was
still
gonna
in
say-
shock.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Healing Word. Just try and bump you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I will, or maybe it won't work at all. That's exciting and cool. Hold on. God damn it. Sorry, this is really exciting D&D. Okay, hold on. It's 3 plus 5, so
What is your
8.
8? So
Yeah.
what does your hold on, Taika? What does your healing word look like when you cast it?
Oh, I was like, oh, it's, when I click on it, I went, oh, you meant paint a picture with my words.
Yeah.
It's like the regular button. Yeah, I was like, I'm an idiot. So stupid. I'm sorry. Proxima sees like this like hanging like chunk, and she's like thinking just very practically in terms of like she can feel the oncoming storm. And so she just sort of like goes over and she takes Taika's just busted ass hand, and she just sort of puts her hand over it, and her hand just starts to glow like just a dark sort of midnight blue as she sort of just like heals him, and she goes, maybe next time catch a little bit better, okay?
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
as
Coach.
you say that, the healing energy pulls up in your hand. And as you go to press it down into your teammate to heal him, the energy itself visibly pulls away towards that void. And a hand reaches through and catches that energy.
No, that's for Taika. Give it back.
And
That's so
Gallagher,
rude.
with your 19 insight, something inside of you just said death. Everything inside of you screams that you're about to die. And it catches that energy and absorbs it, as you were the only one to see that moment and understand that. And then that hand grips the side of this forming wall of this abyss that seems now the second hand reaches out, and it steps through, and stepping in to the backside of the room is a figure with a crown and 6 black spires
There it is.
sticking from the top. And
Go
it
back.
looks around at the room for a moment, and it says, very, very clever. This is well done. And who might you be? And that is where we end this week's session. But is it really? We see an image of Gravvicon, whole and undivided, sitting and staring out at everything. And just for fun, with a twist of the hand, creating even more. And a letter comes coasting down into the hands of the god of time, sitting on top of his castle in a pocket dimension. And with the biggest smile of curiosity, Gravvicon flips open the letter and begins to read. Huh. I get kind of clever when I get older. Shutting the letter, we see Gravvicon walking the halls of this empty castle. He says, the Gravvicon Order. That's got a fun ring to it. So, the choices are mine, but have already been made. Everything's been said, but I'll still need to say, right words at the right time. I'm not really one for games, but I suppose I'll see what I'm all about. And with a flick of his wrist, the entire castle begins to change, and a room starts to grow and starts to manifest, and 13 chairs come rising out of the ground. And looking at the list, he recites them out loud. Reiko, Liba, Sumier, Uso, Koda, Nguyen, Yalkur, Aristania, Flit, Banali, Warrior, Apollo, and Luck. And in the blink of an eye, 12 other figures sitting in chairs turn and look at Gravvicon. And in unison, they say, "We are Gravvicon." Let's get to work.